Hello everybody, this is Mithril Zenith. Welcome back to Mordor, the Depths of Dejenol tips and tricks. Not ticks and trips, that would be a very different show. Uh, Today we're going to be exploring level 3. Got a different character with me, still leveling good old Goody Gilthriel here. But yeah, it's time to explore the third level. First of all, things to note. Monsters that can stone you start showing up, so you'll want stone resistance. Monsters that paralyze and drain you are more common, so you'll want paralyze and drain resistance. As far as levels go, you're probably going to want to be, if not done with your optimal leveling route, at least close to done with it. Which means, at the very least, you'll be like level 30 Nomad. If you can be 30 Nomad and 41 Wizard, that's wonderful. But at the very least, you're 30 Nomad and you're working your way through another class up to a decent level. You should have some decent equipment, steel daggers, white sashes. These are all going to be very helpful. If it's your first time going down to level 3, I would recommend you have at least two party members because it's there's some tricky stuff that starts going on in level 3 and lower, and you want to be prepared. To get down to level 3, you have this staircase here and near the center of the map, and you have this staircase all the way over, well, there's nowhere near it, but if you go down here, well, you can't get it from down here unless you portal through, but you have to, it's a winding path, you have to go, let me show you with my mouse, all the way over to there to get to that staircase. It's notable that you might use both staircases, and once you see the floor, you will perfectly understand why. Now, something I will be honest about, level 3 is the bottom that you can get in the Shareware version of Mordor. So any passageways down past level 3 just won't work. You'll be alerted, hey, you would normally be sent somewhere, but since this is a Shareware version, I'm sorry, but you're not going anywhere. There are a couple teleporters that send you down, a couple chutes that send you down. Yeah. Don't worry about those if you're playing the Shareware version. But if you're not, be warned that it's going to be a bit of a time. So welcome to level 3. First thing you'll notice is that there's this giant rock wall separating that little lower left section away from the entire rest of the dungeon. Now this rock wall does have two passageways through, one at the very bottom by the swamp, and one at the very top by this little maze block. But that they both, well, first of all, they're secret doors. Second of all, they're full of fog. And third, they have pits in between them. So you're going to want to be levitating to even attempt to go through that way. Generally, it's just easier to take the side route through level 2 and pop up there. First thing to note about level 3 is that, yeah, the monster spawn sections are not as closely linked with separate rooms as in previous levels. Larger rooms like this have several encounters within them. Even a small room like this little chamber with these weird walls has two different monster spawns. This room right here has gargoyles today, but why did that fail? Oh, because I'm casting the wrong spell. Okay. I charmed one. Doesn't matter. Instantly died. This room often has mythicals, which means it often has monsters that can stone you, so be warned. It's one of several rooms that can spawn mythicals. This room often has giant ravens, which are abysmal thieves. They're beasts that come in packs of like 3 to 4 groups of 2 to 4 each, and they have very high speed and will steal a lot of money. This room has the stairs down to floor 4 and often has Firagons in it, which are dragons that start showing up. They're stronger than pseudo dragons and they hit pretty hard, especially with their breath weapon. You'll see that a lot of these doors are a mix of actual doors and secret doors. So if you're not using a map, you're going to want to shove around quite a bit. Honestly, this is one of the dungeon levels. Well, I mean, you should kind of start doing it by level 4, level 2, I mean. But by level 3, if you're trying to explore the dungeon, don't be afraid to just push on every wall. A tip for exploring the dungeon, though, have someone with high perception in your party and circle around back and forth a few times just to make sure you're not walking into any teleporters. This chain of rooms up here will be one of your best friends. You have goblins, you have goblin guards, which should be dying. There we go. I don't know why the one in the front rolled insanely high for his hits. Goblin Shaman, who are extremely noticeable for being the earliest monster that can drop the Arid of Being, a potion which raises all your stats by 1 permanently. And then the Goblin Lord. Hey, everyone is actually in their lair for once. That never happens. The Goblin Lord is by far the most dangerous monster on floor 3. Him and his Pelagon companions can hurt you quite a bit, but they drop nice items including bracers, steel bracers, and twisted bracers. Twisted bracers have fire resistance, will give +2 charisma, and cast Charm Dragon at a pretty high spell level, while steel bracers are high level bracers that increase your strength. They're pretty good. The Goblin Lord is, and at the very least, the Goblin Shaman should be your target every time you come down to level 3. I mean, if nothing else, he has Dragon Companions, so he's worth a lot of money. So there's that. Aside from that, there's not really too much else to say. Demons and devils show up quite commonly. There's a lot of monsters that show up in floor 3 that don't show up earlier in the dungeon. Of all varieties. So be prepared to face pretty much a mix of whatever. A lot of monsters disease or poison you on hit, so you might want to try to have resistances to that. Preferably through something like a unicorn horn, which you can get from the slave driver on floor 2. I am out of spell points. This is not good. I'm going to need to go back up. But yeah, if you're casting spells against monsters, you're going to start to run into things with higher resistances. You're just going to start to have a bad time. 42, deliver an iron mace. Forget about it. You notice I'm casting Feather Essence, Sight Veil, Resist Drain, Resist Paralysis, and Resist Stoning. I can't type and speak at the same time. Let's just run past you. That's the biggest notable thing about that upper section. If you want to get to the lower section, you're going to want to run through that. Maybe not exactly the way that I ran, but hey. Now, to get through this lower section, let's forget about the stupid gargoyles. You will encounter this little trick. It's pits and rotators. Now, if you're first going through, you'll be like, oh, I'm lost. But a way to find yourself is actually one of the few times I will recommend you look at the screen in like the map description. If you see this, one wall, and an open on the other sides, that means you're safe to go ahead. And that will take you across. See the If you see the wall right next to you, that means you're about to cross onto safe land, provided you're not facing the pit. Munsay these monsters. This is why you have paralysis and drain resist. Because they can hit you, they often drain, and they hurt for quite a bit. If you want to be extra careful, cast electrical resist because you see a lot more of those elementals, and when they hit you, they can electrocute you for quite a bit of damage. As for ways down to level 4, and other interesting things, this path, which is easily accessible through the alternate route through level 2, Conjurers, takes you down to this location of the dungeon, which is closer to level 4's lair monsters, but is a much slower way of getting to other paths. This teleporter, I'm 90% sure, is a random teleporter. Yes, it is. It's a randomized teleporter, but takes you, generally, seems to take you to this swamp area. I'm just gonna excuse myself out of this location. Oh yeah, this whole section is a nightmare because this is one of the first instances of the dungeon playing tricks of symmetry on you. You have several rooms, each that are these little T-shaped Tetris blocks, linked together with rotators. If you get lost here and don't have a map, you will generally... you have a chance of just walking around in circles the entire time. These rotators in T-squares are kind of a nuisance. Now, particularly dangerous if you can fight your way through the enemies on level 3. Why did I cast Leprosy? Holy crap, I'm getting out of here. This is why Resist Fire is important, because Daemons can cast Blue Flame, which is high fire damage. But Resist Fire takes out full resistance from it. And these are the other stairs to level 4. They're a very quick access to level 5 through these teleporters, or even through that staircase up there. But we'll get to that when we talk about level 4. This teleporter is another very interesting teleporter. Well, I guess let's start about talking about teleporters. This is a very interesting teleporter. You hit it, it will place you always in this room on level 4. This room, you'll notice, according to the map, is a dead end with the teleporter right in front of you. You walk into that teleporter, it will take you over here to this nice room right next to this teleporter, which if you take it, will teleport you down here to a stud room on floor 5. Now this stud room is nice because it's close to the Twisted Elf, which we'll talk more about when we talk about level 5. But until then, I think I'm going to cast a few healing spells on myself and get back. That is not the Dust of Healing, that is a unicorn horn. Okay, yeah, like 4 uses, that should be good enough. Be warned that the final teleporter ends you in a stud square on floor 5, so you can face floor 6 enemies. It's one of the fastest ways of getting down here, in addition to taking the teleport chain from the normal stairs on floor 4, but I'll get to that again when we talk about level 4. Ooh, ants. I'll kill these. They're easy kills and worth experience. And Dazzle kills them all. Pew, 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 pew. As far as noticeable, while I'm walking back, notable items that can drop in floor 3 include, but are not limited to, the Irritative Being and Bracers that we talked about uh, from the goblins. You can get steel daggers here, I believe. Fairly steel weapons, if not just steel daggers. Wait, that's all at floor 2. This is floor 3. You can start getting some other decent equipment, but nothing I can really think of that's noteworthy aside from, just general upgrades from level 2 stuff. Yeah. Firagons will make their first appearance here, and let's see if it happens. Okay, Firagons are worth a lot of gold, but they have a chance that their chests can drop an item called a ball and chain, which is a cursed item, which will immediately latch onto a member of your party as soon as you open it, and costs 2.4 million to get removed, and while it's equipped, lowers, I think, just your dexterity by 1. It might lower your strength by 1 as well. I forget. Yeah, just be careful. Don't mess around with ball and chains. Which is why Firagons are sometimes not worth opening chests, even though they're worth a ton of money. This teleporter takes you straight down. That's a freaking cleanup. I'm running. I ran the wrong way. Yeah, that teleporter takes you straight down 1 floor to floor 4. It's not a huge distance, and it puts you inside like another lake area where there's nothing really next to you, but it's a set point teleporter. This rotator just doesn't lead anywhere, it's just meant to confuse new people. This teleporter, I'm pretty sure, is a random teleporter. I don't remember for sure. No, wait. That's not a random teleporter. It will take you straight in front of the stairs to floor 4. So that's a pretty nice way of getting from one side to the other. Unfortunately, there's not really a guaranteed way to get back. The last teleporter is all the way over in this corner. Actually, there are 2 more teleporters. One of the last teleporters, I should say, is all the way in this corner. Now, my rule of thumb is to always be wary of single room teleporters. Generally, they're randomized. Like this one is completely randomized, and will send you to a random location on floor 3. At least it doesn't randomly send you down. That's all I can say about that. Let's kill these dwarves. Yeah, dwarves are a very hardy enemy that you begin seeing on level 3, which will play a more important role in level 4. Freaking ants. Last but not least, this teleporter. Oh, Grail mosquitoes. They're another large group of insects which can poison you, and are generally even more aggressive than ants. But if you have area of effect clear spells, you should be fine. I'm pretty sure this teleporter is random. I don't remember. Nope. I forgot. Yeah, this teleporter is an exceedingly dangerous teleporter. This is a special layer room on level 5. So that teleporter takes you down 2 levels to level 5. It takes you to a layer room, the Poltergeist, who can have some decent items apparently, but overall is kind of a tough enemy for level 5 standards, and it will drop you onto a pit. So if you're not levitating, you will take serious damage. Best way out is to just run all the way back around, hit the teleporter, which will take you to floor 4, run around, climb up the stairs, you're back to floor 3. Be very careful with that teleporter. I had forgotten about it. I never take it because it's blocked by pits and is really hard to get to. But yeah, you see why it's dangerous. Really nice way of getting down to floor 5 though. So if you're looking for an ultra fast route, I mean there's one of them. I prefer the route that can take to floor 6, but oh well. Speaking of extra fast routes to floor 5, you have this chute here. Be very careful when you're just trying to kill the goblins. not to run into it. If you take this chute, it takes you down into the middle of nowhere on floor 5. As you'll notice, there's a maze of rooms south that you can't really access. The way north is blocked by, secret doors, stud square. You're dropped into a maze. Good luck getting out. Fastest way to get out is to ethereal portal through here. Honestly, that's your best bet. And then just taking the teleporters around, or I guess you could take those stairs too. Oh man, I'm so tempted to just go back and kill those dragons. Oh well. Last but not least, there's one more chute. But it's in the lower section. Actually, I think there's one other thing I can show you. Now that I remember. Because to get to lower section, you're going to take these stairs, this foggy hallway. But right next to this foggy hallway is a semi-layer room. I call it semi-layer because it's not really an important monster. It's just a notable monster. Resist cold. Oh, it's not here. Yeah, this is the first chance you have to face ice demons, which I think are the first monsters that deal cold damage to you. They have a cold breath attack. They're pretty common in deeper areas of the dungeon in water squares, but, this is your first opportunity to face them. So if you want to test your party's mettle against colds, go for it. It's right there. I think the last notable feature of level 3, I'm looking across the map, see if I've forgotten anything. I guess I'll talk about quicksand, is this chute. Now this chute's not quite as mean as the other chute. It will only take you to floor 4, and it still leaves you pretty close to the stairs. Actually, it's kind of nice because it's right next to, first of all, these walking corpses, which apparently hit for quite a bit and are immune to magic. I had forgotten about that little tidbit. But it's very close to the dwarves of floor 4. I should be saving this for the floor 4 video, and I'll probably talk about it more there. But the dwarves and the dwarven lord, much like the goblin lord, are some of the strongest enemies on floor 4. And the dwarven lord can drop Delvar's war axe and the dwarven warhammer, two very good weapons, but which take very high levels to use. But yeah, it's a pretty quick way of getting there if you don't want to take the stairs. Honestly though, because it's a chute, it's inconsistent even if you're floating. Recommend just take the stairs. Safer, it's about as fast. And you're gonna have to take them back up anyway, so might as well. Floor 3, following suit with other levels, takes about 12 to 15 minutes to respawn. I think around 15. Maybe it's 15 to 20. It takes a little while for floor 3 to respawn, so this is around when a lot of waiting might happen. You're going to want to be waiting in floor 3 quite a bit, because farming for Herds of Being or bracers or just good items in general can take a little while, but you're going to need them to go to floor 4 and beyond. Last but not least is quicksand. Now, I've never not been floating above quicksand, so take what I'm going to say with a grain of salt, but quicksand, according to the game, well, first of all, you'll see this little, brownish yellow marker instead of the blue for water. Yes, you actually detect it ahead of you if your perception rolls successfully. That's how dangerous it is. You only detect dangerous things ahead of you. When you're in quicksand, not only do you lose hit points like swimming in water, if you're not floating, but you also have a chance of losing items over time as well, as they get dragged down by the quicksand. Yeah, don't stay in quicksand any longer than you need to. And because the quicksand is honestly just so far away in this floor anyway, oh, and I guess this foggy area is quicksand. Because the quicksand's so far away, you have almost no reason to go to it anyway. Just don't mess with quicksand, bro. It's not worth it. Oh yeah, I'm out of spell points. I should probably go back home. A little part of me was hoping that I'd get a ball and chain, just to show you. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm not fighting giant ravens without spell points. They die pretty quickly to leprosy and to other big blasting spells. But if you try to take them on in melee, especially if you're not a thief, you're going to lose all your gold. But yeah, that's pretty much it for level 3. Like I said, you want to be near the end of your leveling period, which means you've reached your guild's ML. You've probably started training in a second guild if you've finished the preliminary 30 in Nomad or the optimal leveling route. You're going to want some decent equipment. You're probably going to want some spells to blast. Good resistances to have, stoning, paralysis, draining, maybe fire, maybe electricity, and acid if you really want to be careful. Be floating if you ever try to cross the pits between the areas. And there's just a lot of pits anyway, so just be floating. Probably want to be invisible because it's just a nice protective buffer as well as protection itself. As you can see from my items, you will get a lot of items on floor 3. A lot of decent items. A lot of pretty good items. You start getting some unique items there. It's a very nice level. Very good place to prepare for future quests, for future levels. Floor 3 is a pretty big doorstop in terms of you're just going to be spending a lot of time in floor 3 before you really start going to floor 4, because I'll talk about it later, but there's not too much of note on floor 4. There's one or two monsters that are really strong. Floor 5 is where you start getting the good items. Anyway, thanks for watching. This has been Mithril Zenith from Mordor Depths of Dejenol Tips and Tricks. As always, leave a comment below if there was anything I missed, or if there's a particular hint video you want next. Till then, I hope to see you again. This is Mithril Zenith signing out. Have a great day, everyone.